Well, welcome to another Friday or Sunday night at the flights with Kazaki Flyer 66. And I hope everybody brought their suntan lotion tonight. We've gone to the tropics. We're going to see exactly why this spot is such a popular resort for everybody. As you can see from this opening screenshot or screen area, as we pan the camera around, it's beautiful here. We've even got some aircraft flying around. We're here in Bora Bora to start with. And from Bora Bora, we're going to tool our way down to Tahiti and see the island there. Now, these are the islands that the musical South Pacific was based on. And it doesn't take long to see just why these areas became such a legend with our troops and with our men in the South Pacific, and why it is still such a favorite vacation spot today if you can afford to go. But we're gonna not dilly dally around too much. Let's scoot up here. Let's jump into the cockpit. First off, we've got to get our airplane ready to start engines. Let's see. First, we'll need our batteries and generators on. Bat 1, Bat 2, generators 1 and 2. I want fuel to both. I am not going to cross feed, but I do need to turn the right engine fuel line on, left engine on, and we have to pump our fuel pressure up before we can do anything. 1, 2. Then we can turn around here and look at that. That's oil pressure. Move these. There's fuel pressure at max. Mixture set to rich. Props to full open. Now the trick to this aircraft is, well, first we've got to turn our magnetos on. There we go. Well, with this aircraft, what you want to do after you've got your fuel pressure up, you want to work your throttles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the recommended number of times. Then hold it open just a little bit, about right there. Let's see, we'll open the window a second here. Got to push the button first. Release the window. We lean out. We clear prop left. Close the window. It's a loud engine. All right. Left engine. See the prop turning? It takes a couple minutes for it to catch. We want to introduce some fuel. Okay, we're going to have to watch that RPM gauge. We want to keep it at about 900 to 1,000. You let it drop too low, the engine quits. Start on the right side. 1, 4, 5, 7. About the same amount open. We look there where we can see the prop. Now watch carefully, folks. Good evening, Viper Strike. Nice to see you come in. We hope you enjoy our little flight around the islands. Here we go. Clear prop right. Listen to her grind as she turns around. And there we get a start. Okay, we want to pull our one throttle back a little bit here. Not too much. Let our engines warm up. As the engine warms up, you can see the RPM over here start to climb. See the airplane rock a little bit with the air power, air pressure from the props. Okay, now if we were going to do a run-up, what we would do is we would test our mags. But we trust our mechanic. Corky's pretty good about this kind of thing. Let's see, we get our feet on the pedals here. Release the brakes. And we immediately start to roll. Bring the power up. Get ourselves turned around here. As you can see, she doesn't exactly turn on a dime. We don't need so much power on the taxi. Somewhere up here, there's a taxiway. Where is it? I think I missed my turn. Yeah, there it is. Let's get over to it. There, that gets us back on track. Okay, we've got some things to do here at the hold short line. We get stopped. Put a little bit of power back into holder. We need to turn some lights on. Brake set. Lights on. All right. Should have our lights on here. Yep, beacon's on. Nav lights are on. Now we can back taxi to the end of the runway to our left, and so we'll be ready to take off. Release brakes. Follow the yellow line. Lots of ocean to look at tonight. We'll get sick of it before we get where we're going. Luckily, there's the beautiful mountain views to make up for it. Okay, we're back taxiing here. Don't want to get too much speed here. Start our turnaround. Keep putting some power in. Just enough to get us turned around here. Okay. Now we're going to take off, put ourselves in a left-hand pattern, and climb to about 3,500 feet. That'll get us clear of all the local volcanoes. All right, let's get lined up here. There's on the center line. Oh, chair problems. Some of this stuff I'll adjust while we're in flight. But for right now, let's just try to get in the air without stalling and crashing. Looking to the left, look to the right. Nothing behind us. Let's get out of here before the wind picks up too much. Sit up in our seat, see over the nose a little bit. Power coming in. Add a little bit of right pressure, right rudder to counteract the torque. Tail comes up. And up we go. Reach over and start cranking up the gear. Because this airplane does not have powered gear retraction. You have to hand crank it. Okay, start getting ourselves trimmed up here. Okay, airspeed's getting up there. Let's see, we want to bring our RPMs back to 2,000. See if we can get where we can see both. There we go. RPMs to 2,000. Bring our manifold to 30. And see if we can't start climbing a little bit. Nice gentle 500 feet a minute climb. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, this is the island of Bora Bora. The mountain peak is very interesting, and one of the few things that's been developed as far as scenery goes here. So it's worth a look. So while we climb, we'll head that way and take a look at it. We're not high enough yet to go over it, so we'll have to go around it. Okay, we're approximately 1,200 feet and still climbing. Look at this spectacular island. The airfield is actually on the outer atoll reef, not the main island itself. That's just beautiful. This is why we fly Flight Simulator. We fly to hang around with our friends and fly with our buddies, but to see sights like this, Now this island is worth the price of admission itself. Free! We love free. We got boats out in the harbor, lots of marinas. All kinds of little bungalows out in the bay. You hear the clicking of our, as we trim up a little bit. I can do this the easy way and do this inside the airplane, but I'd rather do it this way. It's a lot easier to use. If it yet loaded our flight plan. Now let's get on it. Hush. You'd select 3,500. Turn the autopilot on. See, technically we've only got a Sperry. We'll use this to get us on the right heading. Okay, see there's the purple line. We need to get on that. So we'll have to come around hard and turn to the right. Which will head us toward the next island. Okay, to use a Sperry properly, now I'm cheating and using the nav function here for a computerized autopilot, but for the Sperry, here's your elevator controls. This will pitch you up and down and get you to hold an altitude fairly well. And then your heading hold here is you use your ailerons to turn left or right until one of the headings, your heading matches up with your bearing. As you can see, our heading is turning as we get back onto course here. I'm going to bring this around. Until they match. And we just fly the course indicated. Get my feet off the rudder pedals. And you can see that she flattens out. Now, let's see, when we zoom out our map here, you can see that our flight plan tonight is going to take us across several of the islands here in the Tahiti chain. And we're going to look at several of them. And then it will take us down to finally to Tahiti itself. And we'll fly around that and take a look at that island. So it's still not too late. Anybody that wants to fly along can join us at NTTB. There are several islands or airfields here in the islands. Some of them are not paved like NTTB is, but Bora Bora is an international runway. Okay, look at there. Now that is the picture of tropical paradise. We'll take a screenshot of that. And you can see the islands where we're going don't have as much detail. But it's still nice to look at them. They do give us the real detail in the reefs and the outer lagoons for most of these islands. As much as I'm about the airplane, I really love the scenery. You can see a cruise ship off to the other side of the island there. It's a bit far away, but you can make it out that it is a cruise liner. It's just spectacular to see all this. Okay, while we're doing this, let me reach over here, call that up. I want to see something there. Oh, that's silliness. I'm alone. There's nobody out here to look at or to lose connection with. Silliness. Oh, now it says, now you're successfully connected. Duh. Okay. Let's see if this works. This seemed to be appropriate music for this part of the world. You can see what I mean about lots of water today. We play with our camera here. The detail on this airplane is incredible. Look at those radials. Now that's an engine. Oops, there's somebody down here with us. Not Blake in a PC-6. That's what's beautiful. The skies are open for everybody. And to tell you the truth, we're happy that they're flying with us. Or if they may not be flying with us, but they're flying in the same skies. You really do want to sit on a beach to this music and drink a drink with an umbrella in it. Just sit back and watch the clouds float by. Hey, let's balance that down a little bit more. Right at 2,000. See how close we can get it. Turn. Goodness. Now I'm trying to choke to death. We can turn the mic down. Y'all don't need to hear it. Now, if I had been on the ball, I'd have done like Viper Strike himself and had a whole list of historical things that have happened here in the islands. I didn't. I'm not that bright of a person. You can clearly see that this was a caldera of some kind. Obviously the top of the mountain is long blown out. See how close everybody is, actually. There. 1 mile range ought to be enough. Leave Bora Bora behind and make our way to Tahiti. I see another cruise ship. Big and white, cruising down the coast. Oh yeah. If I were a more mobile person, I'd be tempted to go. But to tell the truth, rolling around in a chair doesn't appeal. Getting around here in my apartment is one thing. Getting around in public is something else. Looks like we're actually not moving, except the island is slowly getting closer. And our instruments are reading the correct data. And we've got our altimeter reading 3,500 feet. Here's our vertical speed indicator telling us we're level. Our compass is telling us we're heading east. We'll turn our pointer to match that. Okay, now our pointer and compass are pointing the same way. That'll tell us how much we deviate off our course here in a minute. Our turn and bank indicator is steady as a rock. Okay, the message light is blinking at us, telling us we have arrived at our waypoint, FARE, fair. Okay, this airport I think is NTTH. We'll check our big map. Yep. November Tango Hotel. Now we need to turn over the top of here so we can head toward our next island on our tour. we can see. Now, see, this is a really nice lagoon in this island. This would make a great anchorage, but only if the channel is deep enough. Then we can look at our map. Okay, it's approximately 62 nautical miles to our next waypoint. Which is actually just a small island out in the middle of nowhere. Tahiti is actually off of our left side over here, but it's out of sight at the moment. You can see why I wanted a flying boat to do this tour. Not in your best interest to land on the island when all that's that nice pretty water to land in. And if you're lucky, there's nothing floating in the water to hit. I'll not be the first to tell you, when I was testing this route out the other day, I had an engine failure on my left engine. Had to circle down and land in the water till I could get the engine restarted and take off again. But the blessed thing is it wasn't burning, and it restarted after just a couple of tries. Of course, we had to go through all the checkpoints, magnetos, make sure we had plenty of battery power, and make sure we had enough fuel getting to the engine. You can already start to see Tahiti off to our left on the islands in the Tahiti group. Okay, I don't know if you can see the mouse, but the islands are right here. We're not exactly headed straight for the island group. We're headed for a small island that's out a little bit away from the bigger islands. It's all right. They're all vacation places. If you have the budget, they got the time. They'll take care of you. Look, freighter off of our nose up here. 12 o'clock. We've got a freighter. It's nice to see the oceans are full of shipping. Let's see if we can get some more vibes back. I have to change the tune quick. Nothing out here but deep ocean blue. Now we could probably firewall this and get there a lot quicker, but the engine damage is on this aircraft. So if you overstress it, it'll tell you. It'll tell you in a hurry. It is not a good sign to see smoke coming out of your engines. So we're not as fast as we could be. We're on vacation, we don't mind. Looks like we're going to go right over the top of this freighter. Go down and take a look. See if we can do this without wrecking our aircraft. Container ship, it looks like. Other ships out to sea. Find our airplane. Cruise liner again. Always just jump back in here and fly our normal. You can see the island we're aiming for up ahead, peeking out from behind a cloud. Here we are. We hadn't gone up high enough. Let's see if we can play with this and see if we can get it to do what everybody else does. Okay, I need to set a button for that. That was cool. Yeah, we're getting there. 23 kilometers to go on this leg. These islands aren't exactly neighbors. They do tend to be just a little bit apart. Not too far, but just enough to keep you from trying to be crazy in a canoe or some other small boats. A sailing boat would be no problem. Bring the camera back in. Almost forgot. Nothing to do but listen to the tunes. It's not like these are interesting plots of terrain with lots of interesting features and fancy buildings. That's just ocean. And you can see the islands where we're going to, off to our left. Right over there. It'll take us a little while to get there. But we will get there. Let's do something. Okay, we're showing 40 gallons in that tank, or 40%, and about the same in this tank. Good. Should be plenty. And if we run out, we'll land in a lagoon and have a native go fetch us a couple of gallons. The thought of being an insensitive person and making fun of the local dialect occurred to us, but we're going to withhold from that. They can't help it, neither can we. We can always choose to be not insulting to people. It's their life, it's their living, and it's their home. We should adapt to them, not them adapt to us. Okay, let's see where our mix is. That's still in auto rich. We want it to auto lean. There's auto lean. That'll stretch our fuel out a little bit longer. Not too much, but it's there. Captain Nemo playing his organ inside the Nautilus. See the dirt starting to collect on our windows. Time to break out the Windex. Looks like there's a bit of scattered cloud at about 1,200 feet. Shouldn't be enough to interfere with us. We're just being a sight-touring tour bus. See, it's not a big island. And if you see a movie star and a country girl and a professor down there, ignore them. They don't really want to be rescued. They wouldn't have spent so many years there. That's a beautiful place. I can see why there are sailboats here and anchored just offshore. Looks like there is the native population here, even on this little tiny island. Okay, turn to the left. And here comes the turn. Watch our shadows change. And that'll put us more on a course for the main Tahiti Islands. Which, if I wouldn't get in trouble with the copyright strike people, I'd be playing the music that goes with these islands when we get there. There's all kinds of good music that goes with the South Seas Islands. Everything from the island music for Godzilla and Mothra, all the way up to the music South Pacific, or musical. Yeah, learn to speak. As we get into the afternoon hours here, because we're approaching a quarter till 2 on our local clock. That's here at the Tahiti Islands. It's 8 o'clock where I'm at, and 1 o'clock in the morning for our friends in Europe. But here, flying time, it's quarter till 2, which means the thunderstorms are starting to pile up. It's over the islands because the air gets cooler over the land, and as it rises from the heat of the ocean, it brings up the moisture, which condenses. That forms the clouds. It keeps condensing. And as the air rises, it cools and raindrops form. And the falling raindrops generate static electricity. Ergo, thunderstorm. The one thing that's a blessing is these islands never had to be fought over 80 years ago. They came close a couple of times, but never had to face occupation or invasion. They were used as major bases with tons and tons of cargo just stacked everywhere. Music, music for Mr. Incredible coming to the island base. We're just not moving as fast. There. Now we're not getting blinded by the landing light. I just love the way the goose looks when you're looking at it head on. The windshield is just the right angle and just the right shape to give you that eyes look. The boys at Grumman really knew what they were doing when they built this aircraft. They may not have made a large number of them, but they're all class. tell this paint job is representing after 1950. If you look at the United States flag, it has 50 stars in the field, as opposed to the 48 from the World War II era. Okay, it's getting closer. Get where I can see my instruments. Everything nice and solid here. I think we're going to take her down a little bit. Instead of doing it the hard way by hand, I'm going to let the auto do it. Nice, gentle 500 feet a minute descent. Okay, there we go, 500 feet. Watch our airspeed. It's starting to creep up. We'll cut that back a little bit as we descend. Adjust our barometer for hopefully for local. And our compass as well. Doing all the fuss today, getting ready for, I know it was cold out this morning, but I forgot to check the radar for this evening. Take a quick look. There's 4 weather alerts in effect. It's gonna freeze tonight. Boy. You think? Yeah, no precipitation apparently. So that's a blessing. $2,500 feet and descending. Don't let me doze off. We've gotten this far. We're coming in on the more interesting parts. Oh boy, we got boats. Lots of boats. I think these are a little bit past the boat stage. Never too late to join. Let's get in here and take a look at the map. Okay, we've got aircraft carriers. And the nearest airport up ahead of us is Tahiti itself. November Tango Alpha Alpha. That'll give our little goose the shakes. Oh, there's our buddy USA 1 in a D-18. Nice. Good evening. Hey. Almost snuck up on us, man. And now TCAS is showing him. Showing him right behind us. Right there. See the carrier group off to our left-hand side here. Now we're going to be turning at the FTM 12 waypoint up here. Then we've got some little curving around to do as we fly around one of the islands here. There we are. And there's our friends. We pan around and look at the island up here. See, it's starting to show its true volcanic nature. just how beautiful the approaches are. There's a song for somebody to have a adult beverage. An adult beverage you might find here in the islands. The D-18 is a very nice aircraft for this kind of flying. Keep an eye on this island. You don't want it to ever come up and hit you by mistake. All right, we're just a couple of miles from our turn. Okay, there is an airport on this island. November Tango Tango Mike. Now that we're close enough, we can see it on the map. It's over here. Let's see if we can get a look at it with the camera. Okay, there's where the airport is, right there, on that little spit of land. Okay, saying 2 miles to our waypoint. Machine says we're already there. Go home, machine, you're drunk. If you're not drunk, you ought to be. Look how high that one mountain peak is. Oh my. Glad the flight plan takes us well clear of that thing. And that's nothing compared to the island of Tahiti itself. We start to make our turn here. See, our carriers are still with us out there. They're not going to go away. D-18s, yay. Just such a classic aircraft. And it's nice to see them in such detail when the model matcher matches them up right. That's gorgeous, guys. Thank you, USA. That's a beautiful shot. Now let's see what our island is doing here, because we've got a little bit of ways to go around it. A big village down here. Looks like it's pretty well inhabited all the way around the coast. Got some boats down there in the harbor. Sailing ships. Sailing yachts. Hopefully 1200 will clear this little bit of land here. Air getting bumpy as we get over the beach. And we're clear. Take a look at the island here as we fly past. Coming up on our next waypoint. Takes us out to sea a bit, and we'll turn to the left. And for a different generation, it's swipe to the left, to the left, to the left. I don't even have a smartphone anymore. I had one for a little while and then let it get away. Okay, 2 miles to our next turning spot. Then we'll turn to the left and head to our next couple of waypoints, these are some very short legs that I just added to the flight plan just to try to give us a better look at the islands without hitting anything. Well, maybe this leg will take us closer to that ocean liner. There's the turn. So graceful in flight. Finally leaving the carrier group behind. Well, if this doesn't take us close to the liner, we'll drop out of autopilot and go take a look. Got plenty of gas. Even though I forgot to fill up at where we took off at Bora Bora. But a half tank is more than enough for these little island hopping tours. You can see a bit of reef over there. my flight plan is going to carry us over there. So let's get set up here. Utilities there. We're going to take that off now. Put our map back up so we can see where we are. Chop our manifold down a little bit. Get where we can see some instruments here. Hey, that's a bit much of a descent. About right there. Oh, well, there's Colonel Fork. In another goose. Yay! What a great guy Colonel Fork is. And his ATC practice with Murph was a little bit smoother than mine. Okay, still coming down. We're at 800 feet and descending. We'll be passing this ocean liner, this cruise ship, close aboard. On our left, we'll take it on our left side. All right. Registration's in Panama. Nice. Let's head on over towards Tahiti. Bring our manifold pressure up to about 30 again. So we don't explode our engines. Start climbing just a little bit. We're down to 200 feet. A bit more engine. Keep a nice steady little climb here. We'll overfly the airport here in Tahiti, then we'll take a little trip around the island. Or at least try to. Almost went too far there. See Colonel Fork and US-1 over there. Keep watching our heading over here. And our airspeed. Okay, we're getting close to 1,200 feet again. What I'm going to do is change my CDI indicator here. And I'm going to adjust my heading bug to right there. And then I'm going to click on. Now we watched our vertical speed indicator. As long as it says 0, we're good. It's starting to drop a little bit. We'll just adjust the elevator trim a little on the Sperry. Okay, adjust our heading a little bit more. And we're on a heading of 52 degrees. We're headed right for the airport, I believe. And adjust our heading to 54. I do believe those are runway lights. And despite the music, it's not a drag strip, although it'll function as one. Oh, that looks like Tahiti International. November Tango Alpha Alpha. Somebody blinking a light at us out there in the distance. Probably a sailboat over here, just reflecting the sunlight. We all think Tahiti is a small place, but it's actually, look at the size of this. This is a big island. Yep, there's a marina out there. Yeah. Yeah, that's where the reflection was coming from, was one of the boats in the marina. It's like a smallish coral reef lagoon up here. Oh, what was that? No telling. Let's get in here and see if this still works. Yep. Yep. So that wasn't what it was something else they wanted to nag at us about. Now that's something you want to see. There's plenty of boats for 3-hour tours if you want to go. how deep the crevices in the valleys in those mountains are. That's not a place to take the old goose. Now that guy's got the right idea. He's anchored right on the reef and probably doing some skin diving and ocean exploration. Lots of boats here. Let's see, let's add another about 15. About 065 or so. Don't want to turn too much. Keep an eye on our map here so we'll know when we've gone all the way around. There's our buddies. I'm just glad this isn't Infant Island. I don't think I could deal well with a giant moth. Or even a giant moth egg. Make another heading adjustment. Come to 080. Don't want to get out to sea too much. Try 095 for a minute. Any big bays on the map? Lots of little rivers, but no bays. And another cruise ship. Somebody's making money here. As with all cases, it just ain't me. Kind of constant adjusting the heading gauge. Yep. About 105 here. This does look like a pretty good sized bay up here. Wow, that's awesome. Colonel Fork, if you're watching, is that the new goose or our old freeware goose? Let's turn inside the bay here. I wish that wouldn't come up on me. That looks like one of those Carnival cruise ships. That is a Carnival cruise ship. They've got a very distinctive smokestack. Okay, it's a very narrow isthmus between these two islands. And there's a town right in the middle. We'll make it a grand tour. We'll go around both of them. Let's get a closer look at the town. Look, twins. That's gorgeous. Like looking at this island. There, we can get everybody in the picture. Go take a look at the town before we head out around the little island to the east here. It says we've got a quarter tank of gas left. That should be enough. Not much of a town anyway, despite what the map says. Nothing like pictures, epic pictures with friends. Okay, we don't want to hit the beach here. So we're going to start our turn east. Head around the island here. Now we could be brave and go into one of these canyons. I am not feeling brave. Why do you think I'm letting Sperry do most of this flying? Yeah, the geese tend to flock together. Any one of these would be a good spot to play. The little lagoons would be a good spot to land and be secluded for an afternoon in. Looks like we'll cross this little thumb of the peninsula here. See, there's obviously a village out here on it. Ooh, what's that? Man, that reef looks great. Asobo may not get a lot of stuff right, but from a certain altitude, the reefs look great. And you get closer and they don't look so great. Somebody in a motor launch down there. See a line of breakers on that reef. Coming around to the south side of this island. A lot more detailed up close. I get the feeling with a little bit of Asobo love and a better mesh, these islands would be even more spectacular. Probably end up looking like Bora Bora. Beautiful marina down there. Wonder if they fish for pearls and stuff here. Probably just fish for food. If you've seen it, these are the kind of islands that inspired the Disney movie Moana. Now that's beautiful. See Colonel Fork against that mountain? That's gorgeous. And we're going to do an airport landing tonight because we can, and so that all of our friends can land. We're not going to be prejudiced against non-amphibians. Starting to drift a little wide here. Not out of the lagoon, though. Now we should be headed down the back side of the island. On the map, it's actually the south side for the natives. Get myself a little comfortable there. Take my feet off the pedal. Ooh, more speedboats caught by the satellites. And those marinas just stand out beautifully. All kinds of boats. Speedboats, sailing boats, and fishing boats. Look at that island. Wow. I'm just kind of grateful that on this little adventure tonight, I haven't had to do a single engine landing. Uh-oh, there went the, finally went the throttles out. That's the first time tonight. Well, we know the routine. Oh, there. That was relatively painless tonight, considering how hard it has been in the past. Okay, we're crossing the south side of the bay we crossed earlier. There's that little isthmus with that little town in it. This will get us back to Tahiti proper. Colonel Fork with us down there. Awesome flying, guys. Going to give it a little bit of left angle this time to stay clear of the hills. And looking up ahead of us here, I can see why you would think that it was they would think that it might be the shape of a goddess taking a nap on her arms. The whole gang's here tonight, and much appreciated. I'm glad for the company along this trip. And it's really nice to share this beautiful island with friends. See, adjust our heading to stay here along the coast but not get inland. Silly lungs. I hate allergy season. My trees are starting to really green up, which means the pollen is everywhere. Awesome. And the scary thing is the goose just looks so natural here. How are we doing? We're holding our altitude right at 1,200 feet. Start heading back. It will turn west and then a little bit north. Head for the airport. Somebody giving a Navy airplane a little practice. Oh, look at that. Look at that shallow water there. And if you can get a boat in there, that'd be the place to go snorkeling. Chasing stingrays in the sand and nurse sharks. Oh boy, tomcats. Our turn here. We could land in the water. And do it fairly close to the airport so that you can land there with your wheels. And if there's a good spot, we can crawl out of the water onto the beach. When we get there, we'll take a look. I guess I'm just old-fashioned. I'll take that Tomcat over that VF-35 and all its electronics any day. Okay, we're about 2 miles. Let's see, 4, and trying to measure it by the eye here, about 7 miles from our airport. Is where I kind of wish that I'd paid more attention when we flew by it earlier. Okay, turn off the vibe so we can concentrate on our landing here. Because there's the end of the airport. We're going to cut back on our throttle here. Turn off Mr. Sperry. Start our descent. We're going to leave our gear up. Okay. Well, I'm going to aim for that little lagoon off to our left there. Okay, I'm down to 800 feet. Okay, there's where I want to go. If I can just get turned and lined up on it. It'll be just past these spits of land up here. Up where those marinas were, where the boat docks are. That looks nice. For not improved, that looks still nice. Hey, 200 feet. Start easing back on that throttle. 100 feet. Hey, add a notch of flaps. And just let her go, do her thing. We'll just descend naturally. 70 feet. Knots. Look, first bounce. And there we're down. Got our throttles all the way back. A little bit of, just a little bit. Get our water rudder down. And now we can taxi a little bit. Raise our flaps back up. If we can taxi close to this freighter. Don't want to take off again. Careful about adding in too much power. Looks like Colonel Fork's coming in. when you get the scenery, you gotta take advantage of it. I'm gonna see if I can taxi up fairly close and throw out the anchor line and get a fishing pole in the water. Colonel Fork is down. Tomcat's making a landing there. The Betty K. the 7th out of Panama. Okay, we'll try that. You're close to a stop here. Let's see, I need my fishing stool and anchor. And we totally cut our engines off. And open the front hatch. Well, can't get much closer than that. And we're still drifting on the tide, despite the anchor. Well, as we wait to catch something here next to the Betty K. the 7th, I want to thank everybody that flew along as we took a nice tour of Tahiti here, and hope everybody else will come along and fly around here and explore these islands for themselves and enjoy the scenery. I know I sure did. I've been amazed, and with just a little bit of love and a new mesh, this island would be spectacular. I don't think that the actual scenery tiles are bad. Just the mesh needs some work. Because that was sure green. And it was really nice to see. Because it's pretty cold outside here tonight. We're in for a freeze warning again. So everybody that put their plants out earlier this week, we're going to have to bring them back in the house. Colonel Fort taxiing up. And USA over there at the airport. That's great, guys. Amazing. I'm not going to raid anybody tonight. It's Sunday night. We all need to be in bed and asleep. But we're choosing to fly instead. Now, how's that for parking? Look at that. That's nice. Get our pictures. And if we wanted to, we could probably roll out onto that road up there. Waddle out like a duck. I don't see many other places along this stretch of beach to pull out at. I'm just happy right here where my bird is. We're going to catch something for dinner tonight. Even these people have cell phone towers. Insidious. Well, guys, I've been on for 2.5 hours. I really appreciate it. I didn't think I'd go this long on this trip, but that little tour around the island took up a little time. And I'm just glad you guys chose to spend it here with me tonight. There are so many people on. Scruffy Tam's usually on. There's all kinds of people to watch. So go show them some love, and I appreciate you showing me some love, just tuning in and watching tonight. And for my special viewers from far away, we really miss you and hope you're doing well, and we hope we see you again soon. And for everybody else, I'm just glad you're my friends, and we appreciate it. So let's see if I can get this done correctly. Okay. I think that's a pretty good way to end tonight's flight. Look at that image. That's just gorgeous. Good night, everybody.